What's up everyone, it's Kovarks here, back on the Kovarks Sports channel, and today we are going to be giving you our 2022 predictions for the Baylor Bears and Texas Longhorns. Starting off today, we've got the Baylor Bears. This team won the Big 12 last year, shocked everyone, including me. Dave Aranda has proven that he is able to reload. This team loses some key players. They only return one of their top 5 receivers from last year. And they're going to have their second string from last year, Blake Shapen at quarterback. But the times he did play, he looked pretty good. He had nearly 600 yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I trust Dave Aranda to be able to get this team reloaded. I think they'll be pretty good, just like last year. Honestly, I think they'll be just as good. The issue for them is the schedule, as we can see here. It is very tough. They've got BYU on the road in the non-conference. They've got Oklahoma and Texas on the road. They have to play in Morgantown. It's going to be pretty brutal for them. So, starting off, though, they've got an easy one against Albany. But then you play at BYU. In Provo, I believe this is a late-night game. BYU returns a lot. They were very good last year. This will be a conference game next year. I think BYU goes into this game. They've got the momentum with the home crowd. BYU, I think they're going to be able to get some big wins this year. They've got a tough schedule, but this is the first one. I think Baylor trips up here. I think BYU is able to get it done. They get a big win there, and they have the Bears fall to 1-1 on the season. We've got Texas State next. That should be an easy win. Then they play at Ames. I'm not very high on Iowa State. Of course, they were disappointing last year. They lose a lot going into this season. Probably one of the worst teams in the Big 12 going into this year. So I know it's on the road, but I think Baylor will be able to win it. Then Oklahoma State. It's a rematch from the Big 12 championship. Oklahoma State's going to be angry, but I believe they lose quite a bit. Baylor's playing at home. I think it'll be close, but they'll be able to get it done. Then you've got a bye before playing at West Virginia. Here's the issue with this one. Yes, you have a bye, but it's on the road against a decent West Virginia team. It's on a Thursday night. I think they're going to be able to get a big win this year. This is a perfect trap game. It's not before any big game, but it's the middle of the season. I think we see an upset here, and I think Baylor falls to West Virginia. Going down to 4-2, but they play Kansas next week. This isn't going to be a terrible Kansas team, but I don't see them winning in Waco. Then they play Texas Tech. That should be a fairly difficult game. You've got Oklahoma the next week. Texas Tech, they're like West Virginia. They're going to be able to get a big win or two this year. You know, they're a decent Big 12 team. All these Big 12 teams are really close. I think Baylor learns a bit from that West Virginia game, and I think they're able to come in here and win a close one against the Red Raiders. But there's the big test at Oklahoma. Oklahoma, they've got a brand new coaching staff. It's going to be a very different team from last year. The good news for Oklahoma is that it's late in the season. It's at home. They're going to be bonded well. I think the revenge factor is there for the returning players. And I think Baylor falls in this one. I think we see, I don't know if it'll be an upset, especially playing at home. I think Oklahoma will be favored, and I think they cover. I think they're able to beat Baylor, and Baylor falls to 6-3. Then you've got Kansas State and TCU, two pretty good Big 12 teams, just like Texas Tech and West Virginia. However, they're both at home. They're going to be hungry for a win. They're fighting to stay in the Big 12 title race. I think they win both of those. And then you've got Texas. As we'll see in a minute, I think this is the winner of this game will go to the Big 12 championship. You've got 2 easier home games before that. I mean, it's not like you're playing Oklahoma and BYU in the weeks leading up to Texas. I've already got them losing tough road games like BYU, West Virginia, and Oklahoma. I trust Dave Aranda when it really counts, when the season's on the line. I think they're able to get their big road win this year. They improve to 9-3 on the year. They go to the Big 12 championship game. And yeah, they'll face Oklahoma in a rematch. We'll get there later. So that's what I have for the Baylor Bears. In 2022, I have them going 9-3. Next up, we have the Texas Longhorns. I know after that Baylor pick, you kind of already know who I have going to the Big 12 championship. But this is still a very interesting team. They've got Steve Sarkisian back at head coach. It's his second year. Went 5-7 last year. They had the embarrassing loss to Kansas. They struggled quite a bit, but I think they'll be improved. They've got key weapons like Xavier Worthy, Bijan Robinson. They've got Quinn Ewers at quarterback. I think he'll be a very good player for them. Are they going to be up to the level of someone like Baylor or Oklahoma? I don't think so, but I think they're going to be the best of the rest in the Big 12. Starting off, they play ULM. That should be a very easy game. Then they've got Alabama. This is the best team in the nation, I think. You're playing at home. It's in September. It's going to be hot. A steamy day in Texas. I think that bodes well for Texas. They're going to have an amazing offense. The defense, that may not be as good, but they're going to have a really good, fast-paced offense. I think they wear down Alabama a bit, but I think a late play, it's not going to be a blowout. But I think Alabama's good enough to where they pull away in the fourth quarter and they have Texas fall to 1-1. It'll be a close game, closer than the experts think, but I don't see Texas being able to pull off that one. Then they've got UTSA. I know they're good last year, but I believe they lose quite a bit. Playing at home, they'll want to win after that Alabama loss. I think Texas takes care of business in that one. Then you've got Texas Tech on the road. This is a trap game, I feel like. You're going into some tough games against West Virginia and Oklahoma. I think Texas Tech wants revenge from that embarrassing loss, 70-35 last year. Now they're playing at Lubbock. I think Texas, they always have that classic choke game. I think this is it right here. They fall to 2-2 to the hands of the Red Raiders. But playing back at home, West Virginia, I think their big win comes against Baylor. And so I think Texas will be able to win that one. It'll be close, but they'll get back on track after a win there. Then you play Oklahoma, your arch rival. You want to get them after the last couple of years. This has been a really good game. They had the 4 overtime game. Then last year they had the classic comeback. I think we're bound to see Texas win one of these. Is Texas better than Oklahoma? I'm not quite so sure about that. However, I think given the first-year head coach for Oklahoma and it being in the middle of the season, I think Texas is able to get a win there. They finally get over the hump and beat Oklahoma, improving to 4-2. Then you've got Iowa State. Again, I'm not high on them, and for them, I think it'll be even easier. Maybe a letdown game, but it's at home. They should take care of business against the Cyclones. Then you've got Oklahoma State. Tough game here. Against the Pokes on the road. Like I said with the Baylor one, they do lose a bit, but you've got 3 straight wins. We know what happens with Texas. They always seem to choke these games, like Texas Tech. It's on the road. I think Oklahoma State's able to get you here, and you fall to 5-3. Good news, you've got Kansas State the next week. It is on the road. That's a tough game, but you've got that bye week. I think that comes at a great time. And, Kansas State, just like Texas Tech, they're your average Big 12 team, middle of the road. But I think that bye week does wonders for Texas. They're angry after that Oklahoma State loss. They get back on track with a win there. I also think they beat TCU at home. I think home field advantage will do wonders in these Big 12 games because they're really close. As you can see, I don't have many teams winning on the road in the Big 12. That Kansas State game for Texas is one of the only exceptions. And so I think home field advantage helps them out here, and they're able to beat TCU. By the way, I just noticed for the 2021 and 2020 records on the left, I have those flipped. Sorry about that. It should be 5-7 in 2021 and 7-3 in 2020. Speaking of 5-7, they didn't make a bowl game last year, but as you can see, I've got them at 7-3 after those 2 wins. I think they will be able to get back on track with a bowl game this year. They've got Kansas next. I know what happened last year. This time it's on the road. I think Kansas will be improved. But so will Texas. I think that anger factor, the revenge factor that comes into play, they're able to get the win here. The Jayhawks, I don't know if they have enough to pull it off 2 years in a row. But we've already talked about that Baylor loss. I have them losing that one. So overall, I have them at 8-4. 1 win shy of going to the Big 12 championship game, but still one of the better teams in the conference. I think they will have a fairly decent season, and after that 5-7 year last year, I think Sark will have them going in the right direction. Will they keep this up going into the SEC? So it's something we'll have to find out at a later date. So what do you guys think about Baylor and Texas? Do you have them doing better this year? Worse? Who do you have them losing to? Maybe you're big on Texas or Baylor. Maybe you have them going 11-1 or 12-0. I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. Personally, I think these are two pretty fair records. Especially Baylor, they have a tough schedule. I think if you flip some of those games, like the Oklahoma game, they're at home, I think they could do better at 9-3, but it's still going to be tough, and they do lose a fair amount from last year. But that's all I've got for today. Make sure to check out the rest of the channel so you can see all of our other prediction videos. We've got a good playlist going with a lot of games, so go to the channel and you can check that out, and we'll continue to give you more college football predictions as we head towards the regular season. But for now, I want to thank you all very much for watching once again, and I'll see y'all next time. Take care.